All right. So brands are spending billions just to appear as green. And yet, 8 out of 10 people don't trust them. I mean, do you? Because take an industry like clothing, apparel, where we're starting from with a narrow focus. Fashion, because fashion, this industry, is more polluting than aviation and transportation combined. You might have seen brands trying to counter this storytelling. But without the right tools, this ends just into PR and risk for these companies to be greenwashing. So I'm introducing Renoon. I'm Iris, and I'm one of the co-founders and CEO. And we are providing the infrastructure and tools for merchants to win where trust matters. We empower them to aggregate and measure data points in one place, and we guide them through step-by-step pre-built tools that they can access through a dashboard. And this works on a SaaS model. Through our proprietary machine learning algorithm, we help them also automate SKU level data and automatically tag them at each single product level with attributes that are continuously verified with consumers. So we really get to the consumer backwards for merchants, and this is where they can then communicate this information. So they have multiple ways. First of all, they can integrate through widgets within their own websites, and they can also publish this data through Renoon's consumer-facing platform, where they can interact and engage into conversations that are meaningful together with their users. Leading brands are already creating their communities and managing their reputation around their sustainability journey inside of Renoon. And this is what makes Renoon different than any other tools that merchants have out there. It's the combination between their own data, the industry data, and the consumer data. A great tool brings great uplift for merchants, and this is why they're rushing to adopt Renoon with 0% churn. And other players actually want access to this information too. We've had retailers, banking apps, knocking on our doors, wanting to access this, and this is part of a larger vision, expand beyond this industry and creating a network that would allow this information to be distributed. And this is the team executing it. So myself, I come from this industry working in global, complex projects at Nike and Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger. And together with the team, we've been in the shoes of these brands. We've built products with and for them, and we have a decade in experience in computer science. We're also backed by 500 Global in the US and have veterans in our board and investors like the ex-CIO of Gucci, ex-CTO of Yves Saint Laurent, and decades in textile and supply chain experience. So the opportunity is clear and the market is huge. There's this next inevitable direction where commerce is going. We've seen this play out before with other challenges like trust. And this plays out now with new value-driven purchases that needs to be scaled. So because of that, to go to our next step, we're soon, later this year, opening our next stage of our round. And yeah, so this is us. My name is Renoon. My name is Iris from Renoon. I'm the co-founder and CEO. We have the tool, the team, the traction. I hope you come chat and join our mission to really make sustainability as easy as seeing the product's price or color. Thank you.
Mic is, no, there we go. Thanks a lot for the presentation, and a super interesting topic and relevant. Regarding onboarding, could you maybe explain a bit more how you onboard the various stakeholders in your value proposition? So I think you said industry data, but also the merchants.
The merchants. So the data that we gather is specifically coming from the merchants themselves. So they have now the tools to really integrate that through a step-by-step process, which right now is very messy. So they do different things around their sustainability. They're just not in one place, and they're not organized for them to then easily communicate it in a consistent way towards the consumers and the buyers that are out there. So we really help them automate this process and make it step-by-step. Yeah.
And how deep can you go down the supply chain, like down the rabbit hole, because where the clothes are actually produced and sourced and the materials?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and that's also inevitably the important direction where we're going as well, and allowing merchants to do that. It's important to consider that inside of sustainability and value-based purchases, there is a front end and back end of it. So we're doing a combination between providing tools to really go back in the supply chain for the smaller merchants ourselves, and then comparing it up with other integrations within our platform with blockchain traceability platforms, for example. Yeah.
We were just chatting, sorry for that, but we didn't really understand the business model.
Yeah, so it's a SaaS. So we provide it as a SaaS model towards merchants. So they pay between 49 euros a month on a yearly basis, up to 3,000, depending on their size.
And their advantage is the uplift that you mentioned, like the increased interaction with their customers because of this trust element that they can show on the platform?
There's multiples depending on which specific merchant we're talking to. Definitely one part is really helping them communicate this information in an effective way at the point of sale. And the second value that they get is really having this tool where they can manage their information and data points.
And ultimately, it helps them sell more.
Ultimately, yes. That's indeed what they're using Renoon for, because in the end, that's also the shift in the market that needs to be created, right? So allowing them really to have this information at the point of sale and making the uplift.
And what role does your consumer-facing platform play?
So we're using that, first of all, as it's a great lead generation. And second is really for them to have this engagement, because that's the problem that we saw. We saw these companies really trying to launch, even like when they're starting out in sustainability, they're trying to launch this new collections and products, failing because consumers don't get them. They don't have a way to clearly communicate what the company has been doing. So we provide that as a tool. Did you know Trustpilot model? So I'm happy to chat more about that. So we really help them really create this consistent communication and provide consumer insights for them. So it's mainly consumer insights and really having the data points that we can show to them. This is what the consumer really wants to hear and know from you specifically.
And you're driving traffic to that platform in order
We're
to
driving
generate
traffic through the brands. So brands have integration tools within their CRM system where they can automatically send newsletters to their audiences to incentivize them to engage with them.
Cool.
And
Thank
those
you.
are all the time we have for questions. Thank
you.
you.